Today, we're going to be talking about something that's pretty hot right now. We're going to be diving into the world of MLOps.
Oh, yeah.
And
It's
specifically,
a good one.
we're going to be looking at professional certifications
Yeah.
in this field.
Nice.
Yeah.
MLOps is,
If you're out there and you're thinking about maybe getting a certification in this space,
yeah.
this is the episode for you because we're going to be talking all about what it could mean for your career.
Today, now we are going to understand about the PyTest. So, what is PyTest? How it works? What is the significance of PyTest in the MLOps and stuff like that? So basically, you will be having lots of Python code. Basically, that will be a model basically, which will be you will be using it for running the, learning the models. But whether the models are good or not, how do we make sure that the code has been been working with the unit test, integration test, functional test, and all kind of things. So this is one of the tool which we need to know uh, in MLOps. Not you don't have to do the programming, but again you need to know what is a PyTest, how it works, how this is a part of the code, and so on. So sometime once you come across that overall troubleshooting, you will understand that okay, that this component is a PyTest, and this is the functions of it. So yeah, we will understand about this PyTest now. So if you understand this PyTest, before that, some of the tools you must be having some idea about it. Unit test, which is one of the conceptual stuff. Unit test means the code to test the code, the code which will test the code and which has been written by developers. So unit test is based on the JUnit, which is for the Java, and it was created in 1997. Again, there's one more tool has come. Unit test first came in 2001. So that's the conceptual stuff. So now when uh, what is the origin of PyTest? So PyTest is a popular alternative to unit test. So earlier it was unit test, but now it's become a PyTest because of the PyTest has a more feature compared to other tools, actually, other similar libraries. It is not a member of the XUnit family. So what is the XUnit? XUnit is basically a kind of list of tools. Underneath we have a lots of unit test tools like JUnit, unit test, and other uh, tools, which is basically to implement the end-to-end unit test capabilities. So it is not member of XUnit family. It's not in the standard Python distributions as well. So you have to separately install it. So yeah, PyTest is a Python testing framework that makes it easy to write small, scalable, and highly maintainable test cases. Again, it supports fixtures. What is a fixtures? We'll discuss about it in some time. Parameterized testing and plugins to extend its capabilities as well. PyTest is a powerful Python testing framework that widely used for unit testing, integration testing, and functional testing. So many people believe that it is only for the unit testing, but actually we can use PyTest for everything: unit testing, integration testing, and functional testing, so all together. Okay, so yeah, it's a simple syntax for writing test, automatic test discovery, a rich ecosystem of plugins if you want to extend it, and built-in support for fixtures and mocking. Okay, so this is the website to which you can refer it offline, pytest.org. Again, if you want to install any libraries which is written in Python, again, pip you can use it. You know that. So pip install and then pytest, you can do that to install this library. Now, we need to understand this structure, and this is very important for you. So when you see the models code, so model code you will find in the my app folder, something like that, or it can be SRC also, depends on the programmers how they opt for the hierarchy basically. So here if you have a my app, and my app have a code in it .py, and inside that you have a directory which is called test, and then underneath you can have a unit test, integration test, functional test, three directory. Underneath you can have your code for test scenarios like unit test. You have a unit, again integration same way. So this way you can create a structure, and wherever you see something like that, test or something like that. So you'll understand that those directory contain the codes for testing the features and models. Okay, and so the simplest structure which you can see on the top, there is a src directory which has a one code for it can contain your models, and test directory which has some code for testing that model, so something like that. So some visualizations like how do you run the unit test. So let's put it in this simple way. Like here you have a one function def add ab, return a plus b, which is like whatever the pass you pass the parameter, it will return sum up and return the value. Now you have to test it whether this you want to test it through the some test cases whether is returning some right expected value or not. So here you have a test cases under the test directory, and there you look at the line where you are importing the my underscore code, which is a product. So from src is a directory dot my code, which is the file name, and import add functionality, and then you are extending the functionality and using to test that uh, I mean whether the output of this function, which is like add function, the output is whether it's coming 3 and 0 or not. So something like that you are passing, and then you are testing. If these two assert, this is assert means you are basically checking that if it's coming or not. If it's assert is successful, then superb. If not, then that means you have a problem with the code itself. It's not working. So something like that. How do we run this code? So there is a command which you have to remember, that pytest. So any code which you are running with the you know pytest, so you have to run with the pytest command line, and the code which you have written in the pytest. So this is the way you can run this. Are you comfortable with this?
Yes.
Okay, so that's pretty much a pytest. Now some of the stuff. Now let's say if you don't call the individual programs, just like this. Here I have called the individual program, and it ran the code which I wanted. But if you want to run entire code under the directories, all the Python code, so how do you do that? Just run the pytest. Okay, so pytest automatically discover test by looking for the file starting with a test underscore or ending with underscore test.py. So if the file, what is happening? If the file is having the prefix or suffix which is with underscore test or test underscore, then those programs automatically will run, so you don't have to call it. So that's one of the easiest way to run the pytest. Okay, so there is a one use cases for it. So there's one software which you can call it a phone number exercises. So here just a scenarios for the phone book demo. uh, we have to determine if it is a consistent, no number is a prefix of another. That means you have to check. You have a program. I'll show you the demo for this program. And in the program, it is we have to write. We have to we have a phone book program, and where we have to check that to the unit test whether the number which has been given, which should not be having the prefix of with each other. For example, Bob and the number, Anna and the number, something like that. It should not be there, and the number should not be prefixed to the 911. And Bob and an emergency are inconsistent. That means here, if you see that Bob is a name, emergency is something like again a name, but these are the inconsistent way to. So you have to do the some check in this. So how do you write a program for this? So look at the program here. First thing, you have a class. That was a simple program. Now it's based on the classes. So here we have to inherit the test class, test case class, and then the second block which you see is again a function. Third block is also function. And now here these each block means def one function, another one basically is checking that what exactly scenarios is. So first method is like no number is a fix to another. Example, Bob da 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 and Anna da da da. So that's the first scenario. So here if you see that uh, here you're checking up phone book dot add Bob and comma. These are two thing you're adding, and phone book lookup. Are you having the Bob and that number is as a prefix? Then you are doing the assert. So inherited assert equal method, and the same thing you are doing with the second block also. So this is one of the way to add this. Now you are going to run this program. So Python -m pytest, and then you will get some error. Whether the assert means you'll get an error saying that okay, this has detected the errors and bad coding or something like that. So this is the way, and this is the output. You'll something like this. You will output. You'll get it in your editor, and so on. Okay, so again, now, so with that, now let's understand the unit test vocabularies. That's some of the terminologies what we have. So typically, what we do it, we have one single test. We call it a test cases. For example, here, if you remember this, there's a program here. So there's a one def. This is a one test cases. These are another test cases. So these are the test cases we have it. And if you combine multiple test cases together, that we call it a test suite. Okay, test suite. Now the test cases, you have a pass or fail, whatever that's called a fixture. Okay, and then you run that test cases, that we call it test runner, and then uh, each of this test, we call it a unit under the test. So that's the terminologies what we have. So if you see that here, just to understand, first one is a fixture, which you see that def. Second one, you are tearing down the fixture. What is a fixture? I'll discuss in some time. Third block is, we call it a test case, and then fourth block also is a test case. So something like this. So now this is the complete list of all the terminologies which we use uh, in the pytest. So fixture, which is basically a function that sets up and tear down resources needed for test. So fixture has to be there as part of the pytest. Scope, test discovery, assertion, parameterized test, markers, plugins, mocking, and few more terminologies what you have. We need to know as part of understanding the pytest. Again, I'm not covering much in detail because I know that we don't need this stuff in detailing, but again, if you have interest, you can go offline to understand each of this. But fixture is important. So what is a fixture? So fixture in pytests are a powerful feature that allows you to set up and tear down the test environment. Simple way. So if you want to create an environment or tear it down, destroy the environment, in that case you have to set up a fixture. So if you see that here, the first line, def setup self dot phone book, and then phone book, that was a fixture. That means if you want to set up an environment, then you have to set up a fixture. So that is important. They are used to provide a tester data, prepare the environment, or mock external dependencies, making test cleaner, reusable, and more modular. So some of the key features of the fixtures, like reusable, you can reuse program again. Fixture can be shared across multiple test functions. Modular, they help separate setup logic from test logic, and ensuring cleaner and more readable test. Flexible scopes, you can define how often a fixture is invoked. Example, per test, per module, and per sessions, depends on this. And automatic invocation. So pytest automatically handle the setup and tear down of fixtures based on the test needed. Okay, so this is something which we have. So now one of the simple example for fixtures, which you can see that here, the the line number def sample data return 123, that's basically you are setting up the fixture. Okay, so here you are setting up the fixture 123 says mock data, and based on the data you will write a test cases. Last def, you see test underscore sum, you're writing a test cases to validate that. So that's a fixture. First one is fixture. So what is the scope of the fixtures which you can see, which you can use it? Scope of the fixture determines how often fixture is executed. pytest support the following scope: function, which is a default. That means scope of the fixture is limited to the function, but you can make it a class also, module also, session also. So fixture, which is a part of the function, runs, which is a default, runs once per test function. Where it's a part of the class, runs once per test class. For module, runs once per module. One session runs once per test session. So depends on that what the scope of fixtures you want to run it. Okay. And if you see that, how do you define the scope? So look at the line number 3 from the top in the program. Pytest.fixture scope is equal to module. So here you're setting up the module. Default was a function actually. So that is how it is. Okay, so here you have a test cases. Now this test cases code you send to pytest. Pytest invoke the text fixture, because text fixture provide the load the data which you want to run with the test cases, and then after that you run the test runner, and then you get the results. This is the complete workflows. So here is a complete workflow. Okay, so this is something which we have, so I'll just skip it some of the stuff and let's move on to the demo. Okay, so now what I have done, I have one program, and this program I'll share with you, phone book program. It's a Git repo you will find in the GitHub also. That's not a problem. Now here you have a source directory and some of the codes you have here for the Python code. Now under the test you have a pytest. So these are the codes which is will do the some test cases. So you can check it out in the details a little bit later offline. And we are going to create one virtual environment and then run this. So you can open this code also, this readme files, and then create an infrastructure. So first thing what you have to do is like install the pytest. So let me open up terminal. My environments already has a pytest, I guess. So pip install pytest. Okay, so it's already there. Now you can run and run this command to create one virtual environment for separately for this. So create this one. Yeah. Now this command will create a mock data for running the test cases. So just run this one, setup.py. It has some mock data which you can see here. These are some of the mock data for setting up the fixtures. Okay, minimal data for the phone book. Now this done. Now this is not needed. If you need a more data, then you can do that, some CSV file which has a lots of data for that, and this command to run the pytest. So just a 2 test cases I loaded up. So here done, three test cases, and here you have these are the three test cases in the test directory. Test underscore data processing, test underscore large book, and test underscore phone numbers.py. Let me show you this code here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so on why only these three run, it not run has run this one, because by default is take test underscores prefix and suffix, so that way it run. And now you have a 9 passed. That means these are the 3 test cases has run 9 scenarios and 1 got skipped. So to collected 10 items total. And this is the basically reports of whatever you have it. So this is the way overall you write a program. So now I'll show you the programs which you can look at this for the reference. Here you see this is important. Here you are loading this is your code which you are loading, and then you are writing the test cases. Here you each test cases you are asserting. Assert means whether if it is not a right one, this is not a true condition, then it will throw an error. Simple way to do that. Okay, so this is the way. Understood?
Yeah, got it.
Okay, so this part you have to have a little bit of fundamental knowledge on this. And so once you see the code of the models, and where the models will be in a form of Python or whatever it is, and then test cases which can be PyTest, which will be having the unit test, integration test, or functional test all together. So, and the structures and all. So you just need to be comfortable how it runs and all, how you troubleshoot, what errors you get, it all kind of things. So that will be easy for you to set up a MLOps and do maintaining the MLOps setup actually. Okay.
Got it.
Okay, so next session, what we will do, next sessions we will complete, um, we'll go for TensorBoard, because TensorFlow last session we covered the theoretical part. Let's cover the TensorBoard also, and then after that we'll go and jump to these tools, which is important. Again, you need to know only one tool for it, either Kubeflow, let me tell you, either Kubeflow or MLflow. Okay, that's all. So one of the
Okay.
tools you have to know, but we will have both the sessions, so that way you'll have some projects use MLflow, some projects use the Kubeflow. Kubeflow is the most popular one.
Okay. Okay. Got it.